Hello friends, this is Shelly from Koala Knits and Knacks. Thank you so much for joining me in this tutorial. We are going to make this adorable cow together. I used Craft Smart white yarn. Now I don't recommend that, it's just what I had on hand and I wanted to use it up, but it's a tough yarn in the machine. So use something that's 4-weight that works well in your machine. I also use the pink and the black in Bernat Super Value yarn and my Addi machines in the 46 needle and the 22 needle. So yeah, once you have all that together, let's begin. All right, so if you have your white yarn, let's get started. I'm going to bring my last white and my first black needle on the yarn in line with my yarn feeder there. We are going to do a cast on. We're not going to need waste yarn for this. We're going to go behind, take our working yarn. We're going to go behind that first black needle, in front of the next, behind and in front, all the way around. Okay, I want to use up this Craft Smart yarn that I have, and it doesn't like my machine, so I'm going to have to go quite slow on this one until I get my desired amount of rows, and we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to set my counter to 0 before I get to the beginning there. We're going to keep going. Okay, so my yarn should go behind, or pardon me, in front of that last white one, into my yarn feeder. My row counter is already set to 0, and I'm going to knit until I get 100 rows. Wish me luck, because this yarn is a beast. Okay, but we're gonna see. And it's because it's like a thicker, coarser white yarn. It's not, there's no softness to it, so it likes to stay up on the needles and not go down over those red teeth, and then I get tucked stitches. But I'm just gonna enjoy the ride, and I'm gonna go real slow, watching as every needle passes that yarn feeder to make sure that the loop is down over the red teeth and that the needle's picking up that yarn and taking it where it should go. And so far so good. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going, and when I get to about 55 or 60 rows, when it starts to touch the table, and if it keeps going like this, it won't be too long actually, then I will come back and show you what I do with it, okay? Because I roll it up in a donut. But if you don't care about seeing that, then you go ahead, you go ahead and continue on until you get to row 100, okay? And I'll see you then. Oh, there's a tuck stitch, so I got to back that up just a little bit. Didn't get far enough that it would matter. He caught it. Okay, that's because I looked up to go shut off the camera. Okay, keep going, my friends. I'll see you soon. All right, so with this yarn, I'm at row 44, and it's starting to touch the table, and I have had a time with it, let me tell you, but I'm going to persevere. I had a few drop stitches, or pardon me, tucked stitches, and I fixed them. If you need to know how to fix tucked stitches, you can look for my video on that on my channel. Click videos and then surf through it. You know, if you haven't looked through my channel for a while, click on videos and just surf down through it, and you might get some inspiration. There's over 100 videos on there already, and some that you might have forgotten about. So take a look through there and grab a coffee and surf through and see if there's anything that you like that might inspire you. Okay, so I just rolled it up into a donut, and that is going to help me keep the tension along the barrel here, so that these little stitches stay on those red teeth, and my tension is looking even as I go around. So I am on row 44, and I'm going to keep going very slowly with this particular yarn until I get to row 100, and then I'm going to finish row 100, and I'll see you when I'm done. All right, so I got my 100 rows done. I'm going to cut off a long end here, open my yarn guide, make sure that this goes behind or between the last white and the first black. Then I'm going to grab my needle. I like this little red needle that came with the machine. I think it works great. Okay, and we're going to remove our stitches. We're cranking our handle and taking one off at a time until we can get some slack on here. And then we can, well, oh, see, it's a little bit tight there, so I can't make it to that one. So if that happens to you where it feels tight here, you've undone too many needles, like meaning that this one is a loose stitch now, because if that falls off those red teeth, you're going to drop that row. So you're going to put your finger over it, then pull that through and prevent this stitch from dropping off. Then you can pick it up, okay? All right, so then I'm going to go a few more, pick them up. Got a little bit of slack on the end here now, so I can rotate it a few more. just like that. I'm going to go all the way around until I get them all off, okay? So you go ahead and do that, and when you're done that, see me back, okay? All right, so we have it off the machine. We're going to unroll our donut. Now the first half I had some drop stitches in, so my work is not very nice, but this yarn was a beast. Just saying, do not buy Craft Smart yarn for your machine in the light colors. It just doesn't work well, okay? So anyways, but I'm gonna have this on the inside, so I'm not too concerned about it. So you're gonna stretch it all out nice and beautiful. Then you're going to grab the one end and put it inside the other end. Okay, just like you would a beanie. I'm excited about this. One of the members on my Facebook group private messaged me and asked if I could do a cow, or commented something somewhere. But anyways, asked if I could do a cow. And I've been considering it for quite some time now, and just got to it, so I'm excited about it. And you know what? I was shopping and I saw a stuffed animal that was a cow. That was the cutest thing, so I took a picture of it. And that is my inspiration for this cow. I'm following that picture and I'm replicating it into my own. So that's where this is coming from. Okay, so we're going to thread our needle, if you can get that through. There we go. And we're going to tighten up our end. Okay, so we're going to just smooth that all out. We're going to go around the top. Can you see what I'm doing? The top row of stitches there on the inside layer. And then we're going to tighten it up, okay? So just pick up that top row of stitches and close it up as you go. Okay. I snagged something because this isn't tightening very well, but that's okay. I'm gonna make it tighten. It will not win. It's just caught on one of the stitches, I guess, but I'm gonna keep going around and around and around until I can get that tightened, okay? Which is probably only, I'll go around twice. Okay. You can tighten it on your first pull, but because it's a stuffed animal and it's going to be played with, this is where my where it got snagged, and so that's why it wasn't tightening. It's going to be played with little hands a lot, so you want to make sure that that end is closed nice and snugly, so that with, you know, a lot of play it doesn't come undone. You just want to secure it, go around a few times. And another thing is this is not the right needle. Pointed, slanted needle like that makes this kind of work hard. So some people like it. I don't particularly. But like I said in the last number of videos that I've done, the needle that I use for this, the end broke off and I haven't been able to replace it yet. So this is the one that I get to use, but I don't like it as well. Okay, I've gone around 2 or 3 times. I'm going to, and I have a whole bucket full of needles. I really do. But you got to have just the right one for this kind of work. Okay, so there we go. Got that one all tightened. I'm going to take my needle off. I'm going to smooth it out like this. Okay. There we go. And then I'm going to make sure that this end stays out like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same to this other end. Pull it tight. Take my needle, close it off nice and snug, go around 2 or 3 times, and then I'll see you back. All right, so now that I have that secured, I'm going to just take this. Let me just cut this off. I don't need it to be that long. I'm going to tie a firm knot with these two, just so that the inside one snugs up to the top one. This is where you don't want to pull too hard because you will break your yarn. Okay, I'll give it 3 little ties there. Then I'm going to put it on this needle. This is the needle that I love, but my smaller ones, I have several of these bigger ones, but my smaller ones, the plastic broke out of the end there, so I'm waiting to get some more. And then I'm going to just tuck that in between the 2 layers, pull it out, and I'm going to cut it off. Okay. Now what you need to do is you need to just put your hands inside of your project and just roll it around to get it all nice and even and stretched out. Then you're going to look at both sides and see which one you like better, especially if you're using difficult yarn like this, because your tension, I had to help it along a lot, and some of these tension rows are not as nice as what I like them to be. So this was the beginning of my project that I really struggled with, so I'm going to keep that on the inside. Okay. And there we go. So that is the beginning. It looks like a beanie because that's actually what it is. But we're going to lightly stuff it, okay? I'm going to take my fiber fill. Well, I want the head to be stuffed a little bit tighter or rounder than I do the body, okay? I don't want a big round body. So I'm going to shove that up in there, but yet I'm going to stuff the whole thing before I make the head, because I find that I'll be able to tell where I want my head to end easier, okay? So I'm going to continue stuffing and flattening it out and making it nice. Okay? Until I get it to where I want it, and then I'll see you back, okay? All right, so I've got it stuffed fairly well. I'm going to be adding more, and I've got it just on the bottom there, but I've got it as round as I want it to be. And then by stuffing the whole thing, it allows me to see where I want to put my head, okay? So I don't want to go halfway. I want to go a little bit further up, about 4 stitches up from halfway, 4 rows up from halfway. And then I'm just going to take my yarn and double it and put it on my needle, and I'm going to go around as neatly as I can, under one row, over a row, under a row, over, under a row, over, all the way around until I get to the other end, okay? Now I like to do double the yarn strands because when you're pulling this fairly tight to secure it, you don't want your yarn strand to break. And every once in a while I'll follow my eyes around to see if I'm going up or down, and you want to go through all your layers, okay? Just like that until you get all the way around. Okay, then double check if you're coming around on the right path here. Okay. Just like that. Don't think too hard on it. You just want to, and if you go over 3 stitches or like 3 bars there of like a stitch and a half rather than just 1, don't worry about it. You're not going to see it because we're going to go around twice actually. I'm going to put that back on and see how I came right in line because I kept looking and I followed around with my finger, okay? So then I'm going to come up. Now we're going to take our ends and we're going to tie it snug like that, okay? And then we're going to tie another knot. Oh, it just I want it to be fairly snug, okay? I want to see a defined neck, but I don't want to do it so snug that it looks really skinny, okay? So you just make it how you feel it looks good, okay? But this is kind of how I want mine to be, okay? It's a nice soft head, not too firm. I can also put more in because I left the bottom open at this time, but then I'm going to check it out, and if I think that these rows here are too extended, then I'm going to put and mine are good, so I'm not going to have to do it, but I'll show you what I do when that does happen. I will go another row where I'll go underneath where it's going down. It's hard to do, but I do it on most of my chubby bunnies and bears. And then I go over top of where that ridge is coming up, and then go under where the dip is, over opposite of what you did before. And here I'm doing it, but I'm just showing you here. See how this rim comes up and then it's down there? I'm going to go under the dip. Okay? And over the hill, so to speak. So then when I pull it, it's smoother around the neck. Okay? Since I started, I might as well finish. And I'm going to eliminate these little ridges that are there, okay? So go ahead and do that if you need to do that, and then I'll see you back. Alrighty, so I made it around again. So I'm going to give it one more tie, and this is not going to come apart. This is nice and sturdy. And you see how it just made that, I'm actually glad I did it. It made the seam a lot smoother, okay, than what it was before by going around twice and going over the bumps and under the ridges. And now I'm going to just take these, and I'm going to, well, I'll have to do one at a time. I'm going to hide them, okay? Just up into the work, out and cut it off. I'm going to do that with both ends, and then we'll work on closing up the bottom. What a fun project. So for the bottom, we're going to put yarn on our needle again, and we're going to just smooth it up so we've got, take some of the stuffing out if you have to, because we can always put more in, so that it's nice and smooth and you have the very rim at the top, okay? And we're going to go under two, just like that. So one row over the other, under the next row, over the other, all the way around, okay? Man, if you could hear that wind that's howling outside my window right now. Unbelievable. And it's cold outside today. You know what, I can't tell you what the temperature is because I haven't checked. But I do know it's a cold day and that wind is unbelievable. But we live, you know, in the Windy City. We live, well, we don't live in Winnipeg. We live outside of Winnipeg, but we're close enough that wind can sure blow. All right, so let's get all the way around. And when you get all the way around to the other end, I'll meet you back, okay? All right, so I made it all the way around. I'm going to take those two ends and I'm going to pull them to close the bottom. And I'm going to check it. I want it to be nice and firm, not firm, but I want it to be nice and stuffed, but I don't want it to be so full that it's round, like that it's a round belly like that, okay? So you want to just have it nice and just a nice amount of stuffing in there, not overly full like we do with our chubby bears, our sleepy time bears, or our chubby bunnies that I also have on my channel. You don't want it as full as that, okay? So I've got, let me see if I think, I want them to have some weight to them, but I don't want them to be really, really firm, okay? So I'm gonna add a little bit more in there. Now I'm gonna give that a pull and see what that's like. And then play with it to smooth it around and get it even. Okay, for me, I think that's good. It's bigger than the head. It's fatter than the head. It's also longer, so that makes it fatter than the head, but it's not overstuffed by any stretch of the imagination. You can flatten it and it looks, it doesn't, and it'll go, okay? So enough in there to make it look just nicely filled, but not so much that it's stretching your stitches or your rows, and just, you don't want it that firm, okay? So then I'm going to tie it off at the bottom. And it's closing it up really nicely there. I'm going to tie a knot, and then I'm going to hide my ends, and I'll see you back. All right, so now we're going to do the legs. And to do that, we're going to take our white yarn. We're going to cast on. We're going to go behind that first black, in front and behind, all the way around on our 22 needle machines. Set our counter before we get all the way around. There we go. We're going to make sure it's in front of that last white into the yarn feeder. And we're going to knit 15 rows of white. Okay. So go ahead and knit 15 rows of white, and then I'll see you back, and we're going to change colors to the black. Goes real fast. All right, so once you have your 15 rows, you're going to open your latch. You're going to put it between the last white and the first black. Then you're going to take your black yarn, you're going to insert that into the middle. You're going to do 3 or 4 needles, tie this knot. First, you're going to pull on that so that your tension is even. You're going to tie that knot off, and then you're going to cut this about 1 inch. And you're going to knit 10 rows, so until your counter says 25, and then you're going to finish row 25. Okay? 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. My Addi 22 needle machine is my favorite machine out of all my machines. It never gives me problems. It's just such a good cooperating machine. I love it. Okay, open your latch, put it between the last white, first black, then put your white yarn back in there. You're going to knit 3 or 4 needles. Then you're going to pull that tight, tie it off, and you're going to knit another 15 rows of white. So you're going to knit until your counter says 40 and then finish row 40, okay? So 15 rows of white, then 10 rows of black, and then 15 rows of white. And then I'll see you back. Okay, so I finished my 15 rows of white, which took me to 40. And I'm going to cut that yarn end off, put it between the last white and the first black, and we're going to do a cast off just like we did with the body, okay? So you're going to turn, take off 1 needle at a time until you get some slack on your project, and then you can go a little bit. You can release a little bit more of your needles, okay? So there we go. Just like so. So go all around until you get all your needles off, released, and your stitches on your yarn needle and down the yarn end, and I'll see you back. Isn't this the cutest little piece? We got this off the machine. We're going to stretch it. Okay. And we are going to close up the ends. So I'm going to take this end through, the one end through, doesn't matter which end, bring it through like so. Or you can close it up and then bring it through. I always do it this way. Okay, so I'm going to close that up. Go around it. The outside stitches, just once is all you need to do for this piece. Okay, that's half. Go around the other half. Okay, pull it tight. Tie it off. Just like that. Okay, and then you're going to close off this other one, just like that, right on top of it. Making sure that this strand stays out, okay? You can cut it off. It doesn't need to be that long. All right, so you're going to go ahead and close this one, and you're going to cinch it off and tighten it around the same way we did the inside layer, and then we're going to tie these two together, okay? You only need to go around once with this one, but go ahead and do that, and then I'll meet you back. Okay, so let me just enlarge that a little bit. I sewed around that outside, did it once, and now I'm going to tie this off in a knot, just so the inside layer comes right up close to the top layer. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to hide my one strand, leaving the longer strand available to use for sewing onto the project. Okay, so we're going to just take this and hide this in between the two layers, or even right into the center there, because we're going to stuff it, so it doesn't matter. Okay, and then we're going to cut that off. We're going to leave this one long because we're going to use that. Then we're going to get ourselves a black piece of yarn that we are going to put on our needle. Okay. And we're going to cinch close the end just like we did on the body, okay? So we're just going to, and we're going to stuff it, but I'm gonna put this yarn in first. So underneath one row of stitches, over the next, all the way around the top, just like that, okay? Black is hard to see, but we got this, okay? So go all around the top till you get to the other end, and then we're gonna lightly stuff this. All right, so I'm at the other end, and we're going to grab our fiber fill. We're going to just lightly stuff it. I don't want it to be round. I want it to be just soft, but almost flat, okay? So I'll show you here. Let's put a little bit more in there. Might be too much. Okay, so it's soft and squishy, but looks like it can be flat, okay? And that's actually still a little bit too much, I think. We're gonna take just a little bit out of there. So put it so that it, when you have it flat like this, and you press on it, when you press on it and it starts to come out the top, take that top part off, and then it should be about perfect, okay? And then we're going to cinch this closed. I'm gonna get one end longer than the other because I wanna sew with it, okay? So make one end quite a bit shorter so that you can use the other one for sewing. And then we're going to knot that closed. Okay. Just like that. I have the fan going in the background again, so if you hear it, that's what it is, okay? And then I'm going to take my needle, put it in that hole, out the black end there. I don't want to go far down to the white because I don't want the black to show through, so I'm just going to go to the edge of the black, and I'm going to take the short one and pull it through and cut it off. And then with this other one, we're going to thread our needle. Not sure that this needle's gonna, well, it should go through this layer. And then we're gonna just go right into the middle, okay? So if it's flat like this, we're gonna go into the middle at the top there, and we're gonna come out the back in the middle, just like that. And we're gonna pull. Then we're gonna go back into the center and out the front where we went in, okay? And pull. Then into the center, out the back. Okay, just like that. And then I'm just gonna come up all the way around to the front and to the back and pull, and then back up to the top here and tie it off into a knot. And one more time. And then hide this. Pull it up through the top of the black so that I don't see it underneath the white. And then we're going to cut that off. There's one of 4. You're going to do that 4 times, okay? And then when you get those 4 done, we're going to attach them. So let me just raise my camera and then I'll show you, okay? All right, so I sewed this one on already. So that's how it's going to sit. So just like that. Can you see that? Let me just look in the camera. So you see that? I haven't put the face or anything on because I'm going to put the legs on first and then I'm going to center the face on the legs, okay? I just think that'll be easier. I put this first one on, but I also, let me move my camera up. I also did not tie it off in a knot because I find that when I'm putting my ears on or any body parts on that have more than one, I will attach them, leave this end in case I have to move it, okay? And then it's not sewed down. This one's a little bit wider. I've stuffed this one a little bit more than that one, I think. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna sew it on like that, okay? So we've got our cinched end there, but we're going to sew it like it's flat. So you actually take your needle and take your yarn out to the side like that, okay? Bring it out to the side. You're going to separate those just like that. And then you're going to just pick up down through the layers and come back up. Okay, and then go down through the layers and come back up. Okay, and then pull on it. You're going to do that all the way down, and then you're going to catch this corner right here. Like this is where the point is, but you're going to catch the side here, so it puts like a flat seam on there, okay? So then I'm going to go down, come up, go down, come up, go down, and then come up sort of on the side there, okay? Just like that. And then I'm going to take this around to the front. Actually, I'm getting all tied here. I'm going to put one more on the side right here. I'm hoping I'm in the camera. Then I'm going to bring this up through the front. And I'm going to sew the front down onto the piece up here, just so that it stays flat. So then it's going to sit like that rather than hang limp like that. It's going to stay up like this, okay? So then I'm going to grab a piece of the leg and a piece of the body. just in 3 or 4 different spots, okay? Go down through the double layer. I'm doing this not facing me, so I'm hoping that it's going to be okay here, okay? Just like that, so that when your legs are on, they're like that, okay? So that your piece can actually sit, okay? Whether it actually sits or not, it remains to be seen still, but we're going to give it a go. So that's how our legs are going to be, okay? And get those fastened down, then do the other 2 legs the exact same way, okay? And then I'll see you back. I'll see you back to sew them on. All right, so for the upper legs, I took my yarn that was coming out of the center there and brought it over to the side, okay? Because that's how I like to sew them on. And then we're going to sew these ones. You're going to line it up with your leg and come straight up and then go over about half the width, okay? Half the width of the leg. So it's going to sit like that. And then we're going to sew them on at an angle down like this, okay? So they're sort of facing into the middle, okay? So I'm going to start, just going to pick up a stitch at the neck there. Oops, I snagged another part. Then I'm going to come over the top and go down to the bottom. I always go from the top under to the bottom because then you get a nicer seam and a nicer finish, okay? And then I'm going to sew, am I in the camera there? I'm going to pick up part of the neck again, then come down into the leg. I want to call it an arm, but it's really a leg. And then I'm going to come down a little bit lower than the than the neck seam, okay? Not very far, just a little bit, and sew that on. And continue going. Just, you'll see that this is where the neck is, okay? And I'm going to just have this angled down just a little bit, and I'm going to keep sewing until I get to the side here, and then I'm going to sew that side down right there, okay? And that gives me a flat seam on this cinched edge, and that's what I'm going to do for both of the arms and get them on, and then that'll be great. Or both of the legs. And then once I get those back on, we'll see you back, okay? All right, so we have both of our legs at the top and both of our legs at the bottom. So we got 4 legs on our little cow. It looks so good. I love these hooves. They're so cute. Okay, so now what we're going to do next is we're going to make the part at the front and the ears, okay? So let's grab our Addi 22 and get some pink yarn and black yarn, and we'll move on. All right, so I have my 22 needle machine set up, and we're going to do the nose. So we're going to bring the last white, first black needle in front of the yarn feeder, go behind that first black, in front, and we're going to cast on all the way around. Just like what we have been doing previously, okay? We're going to set our counter to 0, and we are going to do 14 rows, okay? I'm snagging, so I'm just going to work through, okay? So 14 rows, then you're going to do a cast off like we did with our legs, with all 4 legs, okay? Put your yarn end on your needle and pick up every stitch off of all the needles around, just like what we've been doing. And then I'll see you back, okay? So 14 rows, then cast off. Can you believe it? We're actually at the ears already. Oh, it's so exciting. This cow is looking so cute. We're going to go ahead and cast on with our black. We're going to need waste yarn at the end of this project, but not at the beginning. You can choose whichever end you want to put the waste yarn on, but we're going to do the cast on. That's how I'm going to do it. Set my counter to 0. I'm going to knit 15 rows. It's always happening with this yarn. It's getting a little snaggy on the first row, but I'm going to knit 15 rows. Then I'm going to add some waste yarn. Oops, there we go. Get my ball untangled. I really like making stuffed animals. I think they're so fun to make, and they always look so cute. So I'm going to try to get more on my channel as the months and years go by. We'll get more on there, but anyways, in time. You can put in the comments if you have any suggestions of what animals you would like, and I'll see what I can do. This is 15. I won't promise you that I'll get it done, but you can put it in there and we'll see. Okay, so that was 16 rows of black. Okay, I'm gonna leave a bit of a tail for sewing. I'm gonna put that into the middle between the last white and the first black. Then I'm gonna grab my waste yarn. I'm just gonna use white since it's here. And I'm going to do about 7 rows of waste yarn. There we go. Okay, cut it off. Open the yarn feeder, put it between the last white, the first black, and crank my handle. The second time around it comes off. So I'm going to make 2 of those, okay? So cast on, do 16 rows of black, then 7 rows of waste yarn, or however many you are comfortable with. And we're going to stretch that out. We'll get that ready. That will be our ear. We're going to close up the end here in just a minute, but while I have my machine set up, I'm going to make 1 more black ear. Then I'm going to do the exact same thing with pink, but I'm going to cast on. I'm going to do 10 rows, and I'm going to use waste yarn at the end, okay? So do 1 more black with 16 rows, and then do the exact same technique with 2 pink ones with 12 rows, okay? I said 10, but do 12. 12 rows for the pink, and then waste yarn. So cast on with pink, do 12 rows, put waste yarn on, remove it from your machine, and do 2 of those, okay? So 2 blacks and 2 pinks. Then you can take your machine and put it away for good until the next project, okay? All right, let's continue on. This is one of my ears, or the cow's ears. Okay, we're gonna give it a stretch. We're going to cinch this end closed. Then with this waste yarn, we're going to take our favorite stitch markers, which are bobby pins, and we're going to put it where this white waste yarn is coming out of. We're going to put our stitch marker in that black stitch there. Then we're going to go across to the other side. Okay, so to the left of it, you'll see 2 stitches like this. Pick the top one. That will be stitch number 22. Make sure your ends are outside of your work. Because there's 22 stitches on here, we're going to count around to 11 and 12, and we know those are directly the far side, okay? Because I want it to be even. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and I'm going to put my hook under 12, okay? And then go to 11 and put that through. So I've worked 2 stitches now. Count the first one that was on our hook. Then I'm going to go down to the bottom here, pick up that stitch. That's 3. Go up to the top. 4. Bottom. 5. Back up to the top. 6. I'm going to do that all the way across, counting to make sure I'm working all 22 stitches, okay? So you go ahead and do that. Make sure you count so that you're not missing any stitches, because you don't want that row to drop. Okay? And go all the way across to close it with a straight edge. Okay, so then pull up on that bobby pin, that's 21. On this one, that's 22. Then I'm going to yarn over with my tail, pull it through, and tighten it off. Then I'm going to remove the waste yarn, okay? You're going to go ahead and do that for the other black ear and for both pink inserts, okay? And once you get your waste yarn off, and we put it on the end so it comes off really easily, you're going to go ahead and you're going to, you can cut this piece off a little, it doesn't need to be that long. You're going to just go around that circle there to reinforce it, tie it off in a knot and hide it, okay? Hide that, cut that end and hide it. And then we're going to work with this end to sew on, okay? So go ahead and do that to the other black ear and to both of your little pink inserts. And when you're done that, come back and see me. All right, so for the ears, we've got our straight edge. Then we are cinching the bottom, okay? Straight edge, cinching the bottom. And then you're just going to fold your bottom up and you're just going to do 1 stitch just to make it closed at the bottom, just like this. See, this is just closed at the very tip. That's all we want. We're not going to sew up. We're just going to make it so it comes in at the base here, and then just knot it off. Okay, And then what we're going to do is just leave that end. We're going to take this pink one. We're going to hold it up to this black one, just like that. Okay? Just like so. And we're going to stitch it together. Okay, now where's my little red needle? I'll use my green one. Works too. Okay? So you're going to thread your needle. I'm surprised my battery is still going. I've been at this for a while. My battery didn't have full battery even then. We're going to take that and we're going to just whip stitch it, okay? This is going to be sewn onto our head, so it doesn't have to be fancy. Just whip stitch it right across until you get to the end, okay? Oops. Guess I could go into the middle of the camera. Okay, so just like so. You're going to do it all the way across, and then you're going to tie it off and knot it and hide it, okay? And then for this side, you're going to put the pink onto your needle. Once this is all sewn down and flat, you're going to put the pink onto your needle. You're going to give this a little bit of a stretch. Then you're going to just go through that center and out the back, okay? Just like so. And then you're just going to come right back in. You can't see it because I went right back really close to that stitch so that you can't see it, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into that stitch, grab this one layer of the black, and come up. I'm not going to go through both layers, just one layer, okay? And I'm just going to go into that stitch, grab one stitch, and come up into the other, okay? And then go back down into that next stitch, pick up just one layer of black and come up into that next stitch, then go back down, pick up one layer and come up, okay? And then I've sewn my side down, okay? And it looks great. Can't even tell, but it's sewn down secure on there, okay? You're going to thread this one. On the other side, you're going to do the same exact thing, okay? And then once you get that all done and you got those ends hidden, you're going to actually, once you sew this one across the top here, I should have told you before, you're going to leave that end because we're going to sew that onto our head. But all these other ends, you can hide, sew in and hide, including this one, okay? And then I'll see you back, okay? So get that part done on both ears and then I'll see you back. Okay, so I thought I'd pop on and show you the progress that I've made. So I've got my sides sewed down. I've got it sewed at the top. Now what I'm going to do, I was going to leave it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the invisible. I've got that yarn end still there. I'm going to pick up, go in the middle of that stitch, pick up those two bars. I'm going to do the invisible join here until I get up to the pink. Now yours will probably go a little bit farther down because I told you to do 12 rows, but I ran out of yarn, so I only did 10. I only did 10 rows, I'll be honest, okay? But even if you got even if you got 12, I want you to sew it up so that it's above the tip of the pink, okay? Just so that the pink gets buried down inside, just like so, okay? Then I'm going to tie that off. But you're not going to do this part until after you sew your pink down, okay? And then we're going to hide that in between the layers. Cut it off, okay? And then I've got my cute little ear ready to sew onto my cow, okay? So you're going to do that to both of your ears. Get that ready. And then we will move on to placing these ears and the nose onto our cow. All right, so let's do our horns now. Okay, so we're going to take our two ends and we are going to cinch them closed, okay? We're going to take our yarn end, thread our needle, I'm going to just reinforce this once around. Okay. Gives it that little extra bit of strength if it's being pulled on, and you know, Little hands are going to pull on it. There's no doubt, so that'll help. Okay, and so then we're going to do the same thing with that end, which I've already done actually. Then we're going to just take the one side like this. We're going to fold it in half and then fold it in half. Okay, so actually in thirds. So we're going to, this is the halfway mark. We're going to put that into the halfway mark. I should explain it more that way. And then take this other section and put it over top, just like that, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the invisible join up the side, okay? So you're going to line it up so that you have your, I've got the two wide parts of my V, both going the same direction, and I'm going to just pick up two bars on that side. Then I'm going to go across, and where it came out here, I'm going to go in and I'm going to pick up 2 bars in the middle of that stitch, just like that. Then this is where it came out. I'm going to go in, grab those 2 bars from the 2 stitches, and I'm going to do that all the way up. Okay, I'm going to go a little farther and then I will tighten it. Okay, I don't want it to twist. I want it to stay on the same row all the way. It's a small piece. It's quite easy to do. Okay, so I'm halfway up. I'm going to take this now and I'm going to just pull on it, pinch the end and pull on it, and that pulled it together nicely. Okay, so back into this side, I can see where my side is, where that row is. This one's starting to twist, but I'm going to twist it back so I stay on that same row. Oops, just like that. And when I pull it closed, it will cinch that all up into its rightful place. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to cinch it. So we've got it cinched, but then we're going to do a little trick here. So when we cinch it, so we've got it straight like that, but we're going to take it and we're going to put our hand in the middle here and pull this just a little bit more. See how that horn curved in? Just like that, okay? So then I'm going to take, because I want that to stay in its rightful place, I'm going to quickly take my yarn and I'm going to tie a knot. Just like that. Looks like a little peanut actually, but our horns are going to sit on the head like that. Okay, so it's not straight up, it's a little bit bent. I can even tie it to this other end if I want. Okay, so it's nice and secure. Leave your longest end for sewing, or either one of these are long, but if you have one that's much shorter, leave that for sewing. Take this other one, hide it up into your work, cut it off, and then we'll sew this on with the other one, okay? So go ahead and do that to your other horn. And you've got your 2 ears ready, and now we're going to go ahead and we're going to, once you got all that done, we're going to put the nose on, okay? So for the nose, we've got this little piece that we've cinched the ends on in already, okay? So we're going to go ahead and reinforce that as well, around once. Okay. And then from there, I'm going to sew this end just closed so it, oops, missed that stitch, just so it holds together just like that. Okay, so there's my end. I'm going to do that exact same thing to the other side. Okay, and then I'll see you back. So now we are going to take that nose and we are going to place it on the center lower part of the, just about a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch from the base of the neck. We're going to place that centered on the face. Now for mine, it reaches from one end is in line with the edge of the arm on both sides. So that's how I can line mine up, but you line yours up however it stretches, but it should stretch about the same. Okay, and then what we're going to do, I already attached the corner there. You're just going to go into 1 full stitch, and then you're going to go down into the head and attach it. Okay, stay on the same row if you can. So I'm following along this row right here. So I'm going to go right over top, pick up that stitch, then I'm going to go down into the head and secure it. okay? And I'm going to do that all along till I get to this edge, okay, to this end, making sure I'm picking up the same row of stitches to secure, okay? So then I'm going to go down, pick it up, sew it on. Oops, sorry, I knocked my camera. And pull it pretty tight, but not to pucker it. And we're going to do that all the way along till we get to the top here, and then we're going to stuff it, and we're going to keep going, okay? All right, so my nose is sewn on from this side all the way to that side. And I'm going to now take some stuffing, put it in there. Oh, I love it. So much fun. Okay, put a little bit more. Again, I don't want my stitches to be so stretched that that they look, you don't want them to be stretched like this. That's never good. That's always too much stuffing. You want your stitches to be nice and uniform when you put your stuffing in, okay? So about like that. So I am going to go ahead now, and I'm going to sew along the top now to secure that, and then our nose is finished, and we'll move on to sewing on the ears. So you go ahead and finish that as well, and then we'll move on to the next part. All right, so this next part is so fun, and it's going to make your cow really start to look like a cow. Okay, we're going to put the ear on and the horn. We're going to do the horn first. Okay, so I'm going to just pop this up like this. I hope that it's not too hard to see. And then I'm going to show you, we're going to take that little point that's the little peanut and we're going to put it so that the angle goes in, okay? And then when I look at the center piece here, I'm going to go down. It's 1 1/4 inches from the edge of the ear, like that, and from the center there, okay? And that's how I put my first one on. I can eyeball the second one, and then we're going to just put the other one on the same way. We want that space in there, okay? And then we're going to just sew it around. Now what I did, let me just put my yarn on my needle here. What I did was very simple, actually. I just picked up a stitch along the side here. Okay, I didn't sew it just from the point there and have it just attached by a point. I went around the perimeter here and picked up the stitches. Am I in the camera here? I went around the perimeter here and picked up one full stitch, and then picked up a stitch on my cow. Okay, so I'm going to put that on there, about like that. Okay, so I picked up a stitch. I picked up a stitch there, and I'm going to go down. I'm going to pick up a stitch there, pull it tight. Then I'm going to pick up another stitch, just like that, on the horn, and go back up and grab a section of the head. And I'm going to do that all the way around, picking up a stitch like this. I'll do one more up here, okay? Just so that I have a round bottom, and it's not just attached by that center pull there. You want to attach it so it's nice and firm, just like that, with your horns both pointing in at each other, okay? So you're going to do that. Then once that's on, you're going to take your ear, okay, that you've got put together. You're going to put your yarn on there. You're going to fold this in half, just like that, okay? And you're going to seam up the top. Just back and forth like this. Okay? Seam it closed. I don't have to do that all. And then once this is on and secure like that, you're going to place this right underneath it so that your pink part is facing the front, and you're going to just seam it on like that, okay? And that's how you're going to do your horn. Oops, sorry, your horn and your ears. You're going to just seam this on right alongside that horn, centering it, and again, going from the top of the ear. I'm going to take my yarn, when I finish sewing this closed, it'll be at the end here. And so I'm always going to pick up a piece, then go down from the top, and then pick up a piece, go down from the top, and that's how I'm going to attach it underneath this horn that has already been placed. So just like that, with the pink part facing the front, okay? That is how we attach the horn and the ears. Very, very simple, so I don't want to take up camera time doing it. It's going to look like that, okay? And so from there, we're going to now go and we're going to finish our embellishments on the nose. We're going to add our eyes, and we're going to do a couple more little special things, okay? All right, so before we do what I just said we were going to do, we're going to cut little strips of white yarn. You don't have to measure how far they are, how long they are, because you're going to be cutting them anyways. But I'm gonna take that strip, put it in half. Need to move up my camera, of course. Okay, it's an up and down game. Okay, and then we're going to go in between those horns, pick up a stitch, bring it through. Oops. Okay, I'm caught here. Hang on, let me start over. Go under a stitch, grab the loop, bring it through. Then I'm going to take that through just like that, through that loop, and tighten it, okay? I'm going to put them just all around the perimeter here. Not many of them, just some. Until I can fill in that space just a little bit. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to cut them off, okay? So I'm going to just fill it in until I feel, just here and there, no particular order. Just till you get a fair amount in there, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and keep adding some. I'm going to put it on my lap and do it so it's not so awkward. And I'm going to just fill that in, and then I'm going to cut these off quite short actually, and then they'll stand up a little bit. So go ahead and add some of those little pieces, and I'll see you back. All right, so I didn't put too many. I just did a little bit, and then I'm going to put my fingers across them like that. Pretend I'm a hairdresser. And then I'm going to just cut them off. Just like that, and then that's it. That's all I want. It's just a little bit of fuzz at the top. Covers that little, I'm gonna even go a little bit shorter actually. It covers that center seam and just adds a little dimension and a little character, okay? So I cut that off even shorter. And I just got a little tuft there, and that's all I want, okay? So from there, let's go ahead and put the eyes and finish the nose. It is now time to give our little cow a face and a personality. So let's start with the nose, okay? So we're going to put some black yarn on our needle, and we're going to, okay, so this is about the midway, okay? So we're gonna go over to the side here, about a little bit below center line. That's about center. And I'm going to start down here, and I'm just going to go up 2 rows of stitches, okay? And I'm going to come down into that same spot and go up. Just like that. And I'm going to do that until I think it looks nice, and I'm thinking I'm going to do it 4 times. Okay, that's 2 rows. What do I have under my fingernail? 3. And 4. And then I'm going to come across to that same row, but over on the other side. Just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing, okay? And you can just follow that same row if you like, or if it's twisting a little bit, you just measure it so that it's the right height, but I think that works good. So I'm going to go up to this one, okay? Because that's even. I'm going to do 4 rows, okay? Getting this end out of the way. So that's one. I'm going to put this in my left hand and see if I can maneuver that. For the camera's sake, 2. Okay. No, I can't. 3. Okay. And then this fourth one I'm going to put in, and I'm going to come up right above this nostril here that we put in is where we're going to put the eye, and we're going to go really close. Actually, I'm going to do it on this side first. We're going to go really close. Okay, I came up just, I actually did it a different way and then I took it out. So I'm adding this part into the video because I didn't like how I did it the first time. So when I finished the one nose, I came up. You take your yarn and you feed it up to where you want the bottom of your eye to be. And so I'm just going to follow this nostril up and then go over a half a stitch. And then I'm going up 3 lengths. Okay, so I'm putting it in this stitch, and then there's 2 stitches under there, and I'm going into that next one at the top there. Okay, and I'm going to do that. I did it 3 times, so I'll do this side now. So I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to, there's this stitch and this stitch, and I'm going to go into here and come out. Is that tall enough? Let me just see here. Yeah, and come out the bottom, and then I'm going to repeat that till I get it 3 layers. Okay, just like that. I had them going sideways the first time, and I didn't like it as well. So then I'm going to put that in, and I'm going to come out this end here. I'm going to lift that up. I went underneath the stuffing so that you don't see the trail of the black. I'm going to tie a knot in this, and then I'm going to hide it and pull it out the back of the head. Okay, and then my eyes are done. All right, so that is a close-up of what the face looks like. It's so cute. Now we're going to grab some white yarn or whatever the color of your body is, and we're going to embellish the back here. It's going to be hilarious. We have to make our tail yet too, and we're going to do that quickly on our Addi 22. But before we do that, we're going to grab your white yarn and your needle and thread and get about a foot of yarn, and then I'll see you back. Okay, are you ready for this? It's hilarious. So we're going to take our yarn that's a double-stranded. We're going to go up through the base that's there, that center. Then we're going to go up, not quite halfway, just like that. Then we're going to come back down into the center, back up into that same space. And we're going to just pull on it just a very little bit. And then we're going to come back down to the bottom. We're going to go in and then come out there, okay? You're thinking, what in the world are you doing? But trust me, it looks good. I remember I always tell you, it's the little details that make the difference. So we're going to do that. We're going to tie this. We're going to hide the ends into the body there. I love it. It's so fun. We're going to hide the ends into the body. Then we're going to put our Addi 22 on the table, and we're going to make a tail to add to the back, okay? So grab your Addi 22 and your white yarn, and I'll see you back. All right, so we're going to make our tail in flat panel mode. So when you have some white needles in front of your feeder, flip your switch up to the top, to the flat panel. Then you're going to want to have your needles in position so that your 3 black needles are on the left side. So if you were to turn it this way, they're on the right side, okay? And then we'd have to go back the other way. So make sure that once it's in flat panel, that your 3 black needles are on the left side of the feeder and can't go any further, okay? Those are your 3 turning needles. We're going to turn our handle clockwise. This first needle is going to be the first one that we knit. So we're going to go behind that one, in front of the next, behind, in front, and behind. We're going to knit 5 needles, okay? Then we're gonna go underneath that red divider that's beside the 5th needle, open our yarn feeder, put that in there. You're gonna take your Addi stopper. This divider that you went under counts as 1, 2, 3, 4, and on this 5th divider, you're going to put your stopper. You need those extra, we only need 3 black turning needles for this side because on this side we have this jet out of on the feeder here, so you need 2 extra needles. So that's why we got, when your yarn goes under this divider, you count that as 1, 2, 3, 4, and put your stopper on the 5th one, okay? You can set your row counter if you like, but you don't have to because we're only doing 1, so we don't have to keep 2 even. And we're going to, as you see, it's going to go over that red divider, pop down, that needle's going to pick it up, and we're going to go all the way so we can't go any further. Can't go any further there, the black needles won't let us. So we're going to come back. It's going to go over that red divider before that first needle picks it up. That's 2 rows. And then we're going to go back and forth, making sure that pops down over those red teeth before the needle picks it up. Okay. Okay, and keep going, making sure that that loop goes down over the 2 red teeth before the needle picks it up and takes it, and then it's got to pop down over that red divider. This one's giving me some trouble here, but it always does. The first one sometimes gives you some grief, okay? Okay, so here we go. Make sure that's over the red teeth. Let me get my little tool here. It makes it easier. Okay. Pop down underneath that red divider. Then we're ready to turn. Make sure that goes down. Okay. Okay. That first needle on both sides will always give you a little bit of hassle, but we can manage it, right? There we go. Pop it down. This is row 8, I believe. And we're going to do 15 rows, okay? This is 9. Okay, so it's underneath that red divider that's before that first needle. Push that down. It's over the red divider and it's going to pop down as the stitch picks it up. And then once that first needle picks it up on both sides, then you can tug it on the back a little bit just to tighten up the side. I'll show you this way. Okay, so now it popped under that divider. It's over the divider and it's going to pop down as that needle picks it up. Then you can tug on it just a little bit so that your side is nice and straight. Okay, we're going to go back and forth. I think this is 14 and one more. I could be totally off on my count, so I'm going to look at the length. That's really what's important. Oh, I'm going to do more. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 14, 15, I'm gonna go keep going, 16, 17, 18, one more, and 19. Now, if you have an Addi egg, you can make your desired length with that. I do have an Addi egg, but I thought I would do it this way. For those of you who don't have the egg, then you have your option of doing the flat plant panel like this, okay? Because this is going to curl up and be just like what you were doing on the Addi egg anyways, okay? So we're going to now open our feeder, come underneath that little panel, and we're going to close the feeder. We're going to remove our stitches just like we normally would, okay? So I'm going to thread my needle. So I did 19 rows. Thread my needle. Take one off, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Got it all tangled here, so let me just make sure that I don't, okay? And then you're going to pull on that to tighten it. and I'm going to pull on that other end to tighten it. And then there you go. I've got my little tail. I'm not going to sew it. I'm just going to put it on like that. I'm going to add a little bit of fringe at the bottom here, just like what I did at the top of the head. I'm going to cut off some pieces and I'm going to just attach it onto the bottom here and then cut them so that they're even. And then I'm going to sew the tail onto the back. So go ahead and do that and I'll see you back when you're done. All right, you guys, so I sewed the tail on, and then I put the fringe on, and then I took a needle and I separated all the strands, and I did that for the top of the head too. For that little tuft, I separated all the strands, and it looks so cute. Now you're seeing in this clip that I've got my black spots on there. I had another clip on here with the tail on, and I was going to show you the top of this little poof thing up here. And I was going to show you that, and then I showed you how to do the duplicate stitch on here, but it videotaped in Cinematech or whatever it is. I didn't realize it wasn't on video, and so then it was sideways and it wasn't good, so I had to delete it. But anyways, I went and separated the strands on that cow, and it just looks so cute. Here, I just raised my camera, and we've got our tail there. It's just like adorable. I didn't sew this up. This is just our little flat panel that automatically rolls up. So it's so cute. And then I did duplicate stitching. Okay. So I have a video on my channel. If you go to my channel and you click on videos and you scroll down quite a ways down, I will teach you how to do the duplicate stitch. Okay. This video is just way too long to show you, another technique. Okay, so I show you that in another video, and what you want to do is be creative. Just be yourself and put the duplicate stitching wherever you want it. Make it yours. Every project is going to look different, and I cannot wait to see your creations when you put them in the Facebook group. The only thing I will tell you is that with this one I did just one stitch there, like I did 3 across there and 3 across there. Okay, so I'll just give you some of my ideas as to how I did it. I'm going to just enlarge that now. For this one, I did 2, and then I went up 2, and then up another row 2, and then I did 3, and then 2. Don't even take too much time to listen to this because I just did it. I didn't have any pattern written out for this. I just started doing duplicate stitch and just put it however it looked good. But one thing I will say is don't make any straight lines. Like, don't make squares. Make it all so it's jagged and different, because that's what the spots are on a cow. They're not all square and uniform and whatever. So just put them how you like them, and make it your own. And then every cow will be unique and different. So go ahead and look on my channel if you need some assistance with duplicate stitch. But you know what? I will tell you, this cow is adorable even without the duplicate stitch. So if you are just panicked about that, don't do it. And you will have the cutest little cow that you can ever imagine. So anyways, there is my cow. Thank you so much for joining me in this tutorial. I really had fun doing this, especially this. And anyways, I hope that you make a cow or two, and that you show us in our Facebook group. And again, thank you for joining me. Please hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and join my Facebook group. I would love to have you over there as well. So take care, my friends. We'll see you in the next video.